Hello, Bob Lemon for LCTV. Happy to be here at Brandywine River Museum of Art in historic Chaddsford, PA. Today, we're with the designer and creator of the Brandywine Riverway Railroad, Stephen Clark. Hi, Stephen.
Oh, hello. I'm glad you could make it.
Good to see you again. I know you're a fixture here during the Christmas season for Brandywine Christmas.
Fixture. That's why I'm a fixture.
Tell us how this all got started way back when.
Well, when the museum first started, I worked here in another capacity. And they wanted someone who could take over the trains when the two fellows who used to do it retired. So I took over the trains 38 years ago now.
Wow.
And rebuilt the layout and keeping it running. And ever since picked up a few good men to help, and women too, I should say.
Very good.
And we keep it running all during the holidays, where we hope overwhelming crowds.
Especially on the weekends. You're open 7 days a week?
On the weekends, yes. We're here every day but Christmas Day.
Very good.
And we have extended hours until 9 o'clock on Thursdays.
That's good to know, because I know it does get crowded, having been here before. I understand this started way back in 1972.
Well, the museum needed some way of getting people in to visit the museum during the holidays. And a Christmas exhibit with the dolls of Anne Wyeth McCoy, and also the trains was a way of, because of association, getting people in to see the exhibits and getting people in to see the museum itself.
And it's a great attraction for kids of all ages.
We hope so. I'm running it for the grandchildren of children who came when I first began doing it.
And what sparked your interest way back when you were a wee lad with model railroading?
I always liked trains well enough. It wasn't a particular hobby of mine. I liked taking things apart and putting them together to avoid being thrashed. So that was important.
By older brothers or
by parents? No, I'm just teasing. They never were that bad.
Okay. How long does it take you and your crew to put this together every year and get it set up?
We moved into the gallery last Saturday and began running this past Friday morning.
Wow.
So we're given 6 days.
And you go 7 days a week now through
January the 3rd, I believe.
January 3rd.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it's running well, as you can see, for the moment.
And I see one of the longer trains has over 100 cars on it. The long train.
122.
Okay. And you have some models that depict the Strasburg Railroad,
yes,
which our viewers in Lancaster will fondly recall.
They'll see it on the film.
Right. And tell us about why it's an O-gauge layout.
All right. The first years the museum had trains at all, they had a local hobby club, and they modeled in HO, half the size of this. And one of the comments was nobody could see it.
Too small, yeah.
So this is a reliable size. It's pretty easy to get stuff to run on this track, as opposed to, let's say, S-gauge American Flyer, which is a bit smaller, or standard gauge, which is a lot larger.
Okay.
So this is a good size.
And O-gauge is perfect, especially for the little ones.
Right. And children can see it. Mm-hmm. And if they handle it by mistake, if they could break through the lines and somehow get through, they can't do too much damage. That's important too.
Well, it's a great tradition, and I thank you for your years of service, and thanks for taking time to chat for us today.
I just hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and they come to see the trains in the meantime.
Thank you, Stephen. For LCTV, I'm Bob Lemon. Here with Christine Podmaninsky, curator of the N.C. Wyeth collection for the Brandywine River Museum of Art. Christine, tell us about this N.C. Wyeth illustration of Treasure Island.
Well, in 1911, N.C. Wyeth was commissioned by Scribner's. It was really his first big Scribner's commission to do a new edition of Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. So he, throughout that summer, he created 17 paintings for the book, and we're fortunate to have probably about a dozen of them that hang regularly here at the Brandywine River Museum, and they are just the most fabulous paintings. You stand in front of them and just cannot believe that this man's imagination, he was able to pull these pirates, these situations out of his imagination and commit them to these canvases, which are really large canvases. They're more or less, I think probably about 36 by 42 or so inches. The illustrations in the book itself were probably only about 9 inches high, 8 inches high maybe, and 7 inches wide. So when you figure that for those really tiny illustrations, he did these incredibly large and dramatic, colorful paintings. They really are something to see in person, I think. Although they were not painted to be seen in person, they were, of course, painted to be seen in the book. And the fact that they are so famous, so iconic, really tells you about the power of the paintings, how they could be reduced from such a large size to a small size, and still retain all that drama and power that N.C. Wyeth put into them.
Would you say that the Treasure Island Commission kind of made N.C. Wyeth's career, gave him the financial backing to move to Chadds Ford and establish himself?
He actually already lived in Chadds Ford. These paintings were done in a studio sort of across Route 1 here in town, though. What they did give him was the money to make a down payment on the land where he eventually did build his house and studio. So these paintings definitely were the reason he settled in Chadds Ford, if you will, the wherewithal that he used to settle in Chadds Ford.
And the paintings are part of the museum's permanent collection, and they are often on display here.
Correct. The Treasure Island paintings, about half of them belong to the Wyeth family, and half of them belong to the museum, and they are pretty much on display here all the time.
And it was a nice idea to dovetail this with Brandywine Christmas.
Yeah, yes. Generally, visitors to the museum at Christmas time do not get to see a full gallery of N.C. Wyeth's paintings. Because of other things going on, we generally have abbreviated his work to maybe just 6 or 8 paintings. But this year we decided what a gift to give our visitors is a whole gallery of N.C. Wyeth paintings. And you know, I think these are paintings that appeal to people of all ages. Of course, Christmas is family time at the Brandywine River Museum, and for families with children, these are great paintings to look at. Even if the children don't know the stories, they can make up their own stories. These paintings are just, they are fodder for the imagination. And
the books are for sale in the bookstore.
The books are for sale in the bookstore, and they're also here in the gallery. One can sit and look at them as well. So.
Christine, tell us what we're looking at in this corner of the gallery.
Well, first of all, we're looking at a self-portrait of N.C. Wyeth, which is a very, again, dramatic self-portrait with the raking light coming in and a dark background. And of course, the light does hit not only one side of his face, but he accentuates his, the paint cup and the brushes that he's holding in his hand. It's just the platonic conception, if you will, of a portrait of an artist. And then next to it, we have an enlargement of an archival photograph that we own showing N.C. Wyeth coming down from his studio. This would be his normal commute, if you will, the maybe 50 yards or so down a walkway and then down a little flight of stairs to his house on his property. I love this picture. It shows in the background NC Wyeth's studio with its most prominent, if you will, architectural feature, this pointed roof, and then a very high, probably maybe 2.5-story Palladian window that is the artist's true north light. It let in the light that NC Wyeth used to paint his paintings in the studio.
And the studio is maintained and exists very much in the state it did when NC Wyeth worked there.
Yes, yes, we have tried very hard to make it look as it looked at about 1945, at about his death.
Bob Lemon for LCTV, here again in Chadds Ford. Today I'm with Donna Gormel, who is Director of Volunteers and Special Events at Brandywine River Museum. Donna is going to talk to us about one of the traditions of Brandywine Christmas, which is the annual critter sale.
That's correct. Hi, welcome. So nice to have you here today.
Thanks.
Critters have been an important part of the Brandywine Museum for 4 decades. We started in 1971 when we opened our doors. Our chairman of the board said to 2 of our volunteers, decorate a natural tree. We are first known as the Brandywine Conservancy and concerned about environmental issues. So he felt that doing a tree out of natural materials would support the Brandywine Conservancy. So those 2 volunteers trotted off and to the woods and the fields in Chadds Ford and in their gardens and collected materials in their raw state. So they collected pine cones and grasses and teasel and hung them on a tree. And that was our first natural tree. Following that, the next year, mice and ducks and owls and squirrels started to appear. So it has grown significantly over the last 4 decades. Today, there are over 150 volunteers making critters nearly year-round. They start in March and they work through December, and all of their efforts go to decorating the museum for the holidays. We did that last Monday, and for our annual critter sale. And that will be the first weekend in December, and then we will be selling critters through the run of the Christmas exhibition in the museum shop.
I understand there's about 10,000 ornaments that would be available
There
for critters.
are. We will be setting up this week for our weekend sale, but there are 10,000, probably over 10,000 ornaments for the sale. Different themes, reindeer, seasonal themes, woodland themes, tally-ho, horse racing. One of our new themes this year is Sounds of the Season. So there are critters that are musical, whether it's musical notes or it's choirs or cello players or harpists. There's a wide variety and something for everybody to enjoy, to see when they come to the museum. And the imagination and creativity of the group is just phenomenal. They work tirelessly through the year and collecting the materials, drying them, preparing them, and then creating works of art. We're standing in front of Storybook Tree right now that features a lot of characters from A Christmas Carol. You'll see Jacob Marley and Tiny Tim and Dr. Seuss characters on this tree. And here is a tree all with bears in all manner of activity, whether they're riding bikes or they're eating, but they're mainly made out of teasel. That's the main ingredient in critter making. And that is something we collect in August locally, and at this stage of readiness, and everything is adhered using a glue gun. Volunteers work 3 days a week here on our campus, and many of them work at home additionally, and also coming to the workshop.
And some of these volunteers have been with you over the decades.
They have. They have. We have one volunteer particularly has been here since we started the program, and Jan is still making critters today.
I understand you've been here for more than 30 years.
I have been. I've been here 33 years and love being here. It's a great place, wonderful people, absolutely.
Tell us about the wreath, the big wreath on the outside.
As you approach the museum and on the front of the building, there is a wreath that is 18 feet in diameter. It's made out of yew and blue spruce. Don Orner, who is a Lancaster resident and volunteer with us, Don spearled that event and that task 2 weeks ago. And we had 60 volunteers making that wreath and finished it in about 3 hours. But Don is, a great docent here and a great volunteer, and he also took on that project for me last year and is continuing to do that.
It's a great photo opportunity.
It is.
On the outside of the building in front of the historic Charles Sparks
Absolutely,
sculpture, Boy with Hawk.
Right, exactly.
And,
it's magnificent.
For someone that maybe has not been to Chadsford at this time of year,
Yes.
for Brandywine Christmas, tell them what they've been missing out on all these years.
Oh my goodness. Coming here is like really nothing else. Just minutes before you came, I was talking to two couples from Reston, Virginia, and they work at a nature center, and they were just really blown away by the creativity of the critters and the imagination. And they were taking photographs right and left, and were very, very complimentary of that. And it is a tradition, as the trains are, and as the dolls are, and as our wonderful collection of art. There's something for everybody, and there are events throughout the whole holiday season. And Critters is, has been a major fundraiser for us. In 2011, we crested the $1 million mark in raising funds to support the organization and to purchase art for the museum's collection.
That's wonderful.
And we have now added art education and programming to that through benefit.
And the critters are affordable.
They are.
They're
They range
wonderful
in.
Christmas gifts.
That's a good point. They range in range in price from $5 to $50 as an average, and they go up to $250 for tabletop, dining room tables, mantles, those kinds of displays.
And like you said, they are original works of art.
They are, and they're environmentally friendly, and they're unique, and they are works of art.
Great. Donna, thanks for chatting with us about Brandywine Christmas and the Critter sale. Good luck with this year's sale.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you.
And from Brandywine River Museum, I want to wish happy holidays to our viewing audience. Signing off for LCTV, this is Bob Lament.